God, today just nothing works. Today I wanted to talk about my life in Paris. For those who don't know me, I have been living in Paris for more than 8 years now. I came as a student and then I fell in love with the city and everything that it had to offer, and so I decided to stay. And of course, I will address the elephant in the room, which is the racism in France. As you know me, guys, I love the pieces from Ana Luisa. They always have the most daintiest pieces ever. They craft high quality jewelry at very affordable prices. This time around, I got these beautiful dainty rings. They're just so easy to pair with any outfit. I stand for their cause. They care about the impact of the planet, hence they design carbon neutral accessories. They are currently running a Cyber Monday sale. I'm gonna put a link on the description that will take you directly to the sale. Make sure you invest in good accessories. I will definitely recommend checking out Ana Luisa. So just a little history. I came here to study fashion business. I did a master's degree in fashion business, and during my studies I really grew fond of digital marketing, and so I really wanted to pursue a career in digital marketing. And I was able to get several jobs. I did work for fashion brands, but I gravitated more towards tourism companies because I was in Paris, and Paris is not only a fashion hub, it's also a very beautiful touristic destination. So I really wanted to pursue that. I felt like I was always going to be a little tourist myself, and I really loved that about Paris. So I decided to do a little 360 on my career and focus more on tourism. This is my experience. I mean, experiences differ. People have different backgrounds, they have different circumstances, they come to Paris for different things. So my experience might not be equally the same as someone else, but I do hope that it resonates with someone out there. I think Paris is ridiculously expensive, and I'm talking about living in the city. I think just like every other city, like big cities in the world, if you live in the big cities, it's gonna be very expensive. And at first when I was here, living in Paris was like a dream thing for me, and I wanted to be right at the heart of it all. But with time, I just couldn't stand all the noise, the pollution, just the crowdedness. And for the moment, like me and my partner, we live just on the outskirts of Paris. We work in Paris every day, but we don't live there. And I think it's also got to do with the question about having space and just having that extra room. And I feel like you just can't have that in Paris, and you will pay so much just to have so little and no space at all. I wouldn't have it any other way. Right now Paris is very overcrowded, and there isn't really fun in that. I mean, you can do that for 1 or 2 days, but for your whole life it does get a little bit unbearable. I think the biggest challenge I have had living in Paris is the language barrier. When I arrived here, I didn't speak a word in French, and I came for an English program offered by an English university. And at that time, I knew I was going to leave, but I ended up staying and hoping to pursue a career here, which is what I did. The first few years were very, very rocky. Like, they were the hardest years because I never thought that I would settle down. I just thought I was gonna go do my degree and vamoose. But when I decided to stay, that's when I said, like, okay, let me start learning the language. But at that time, it also limited me to getting the jobs and the positions that I wanted, because in as much as English is appreciated here, it's not really enough to get you through the door, if you know what I mean. If you speak English, it's like icing on the cake, but the basic of the basic, like everyday language use, even when you're at work, you will be speaking in French. And right now, I could say that I have really improved. I have worked with English companies, like when at work, I will deal with English clients. I was able to launch my career via that route, but Had I known, I think like I would have learned French before coming to France. And it's very challenging when you can't really fully communicate and integrate well. Nobody wants to be misunderstood or not understood at all. I mean, I still face challenges even when I would say something and I would say it with my English accent and people would just be like, huh? Administrative procedures in France are tedious and they're not straightforward. Never. I've never had something that was straightforward. Like right now, I'm in the process of requesting a certain document at the Marais, and the many times I've been back and forth with this document. You have the procedure, maybe you Google it or you go ask and it's right there. But then there is always that one step or two steps that are not included there. You think that you have completed everything and you have already submitted your documents. They'll be like, you missed this step. You can't proceed until this step is done. It's really not straightforward. It's very bureaucratic. A lot of paperwork, like the amount of photocopies I've had taken, the amount of papers I had to find, tedious. And when I first arrived here, I knew that I had to renew my titre de séjour every year or so, and just the thought of it made me it's like the documents that I submitted, they didn't mean a thing. Like I had to go through every single step all over again. So I would like prepare like 6 months in advance before like the interview, everything. Like it's a lot. The different culture shocks that I've had when I first arrived, and even up until today, really. Most businesses, they close during lunchtime and then they open, let's say, after 2 p.m. So now I'm comparing this because I have lived in the UK and also in Tanzania. And in the UK, as I do remember, and because I have a business degree, we were always taught like the best business customer service practice will be to open at the most busiest hours, meaning lunch, because that is the time when everyone is on a break. So probably they may want to go to the bank, they might want to go to the restaurant, they might want to go do a little bit of shopping for 1 or 2 hours. In France, it's quite the opposite. Now, when I want to actually go and buy something, I always have to remember, I have to do it before 1 or after 3 p.m. And then if I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'll do that first thing Monday morning. Another thing is that companies and businesses are closed on Mondays. Monday is not the first day of the week here, so it's Tuesday. Okay, so I do know that there is a moment, or there are people that you address them as vous, which is you, but it's the formal one, and then tu, which is the informal one. For me, the most challenging has always been the transition from vous to tu. When is it appropriate? For how long can you address someone as vous and then finally enter the tu stage? And you can still address people as vous even though you tell them all your private secrets. So I'm like, I'll still call you vous, but then you know all about me and I know about you. I know you have invited me to dinner at your home. I know your family, but we'll still address each other as vous. Makes sense. It's always been like, even with family members, sometimes senior people, like, when is it right? Because if I was to say from my country, I wouldn't address say we translated the vous and tu. Someone who's older than me, I will never address them as tu. And never will I address them by their first name. It's actually Father someone or Mr. someone or whatever. And so that transition, hi, nice to meet you too. So it's always been the handshake and that's it. Like, if I meet you for the first time, I don't know you, even if you're at the pub, I'll give you a handshake. But now it's all about the bees, you see, the kissing. And also, when do you transition from no kissing at all, or I've just met you and I'm gonna give you 2 kisses? When is it okay and when is it not? I'm always confused. My taste buds and my taste in just everything has really changed. I used to hate bread. The bread here tastes amazing, and that just goes to say so many things. The food, the wine, the gastronomy of France is amazing. The different specialities from different regions, all that just has really, my taste buds are really grateful. Also, my style has really changed. I've spoken a lot about this on my previous styling videos. One memory I have is my commute to work when I used to live in London, and you would go on the tube and you would see, like, in the morning, the ladies are made up, like proper dressed, like they were stepping out, you know. It's 8 a.m. in the morning and they look like they're going to a red carpet event, and here we are, we're just going to work. So when I arrived here, I had to like bring it down a little bit, because I would show up the same way to work and people wouldn't understand where I was headed to. I kind of had to like tone it down a bit, because I felt like, okay, some things are just not necessary. And since the French always have this very effortless, I woke up like this look, so I really wanted to see how that felt as well. And so I've been able to melange the two. One thing I've noticed is that even though France is the home to all the big fashion luxury houses, majority of the French people will not wear, like, they will not display these brands that are wearing, like, right there. They would wear quality and they would wear these brands, but they're very also toned down when they wear it. They do it in such a way that you wouldn't even know they're wearing brands. And I also feel like this is just like a personal preference for the French people, so they really vouch for quality over quantity. France has really very nice made in France brands that do equally nice quality stuff, just as parallel to big brands, but they're just not known, but they are equally the same. So now allow me to address the elephant in the room. Sorry, I had to film this separately. I ran out of charge for my battery and I had to film it the following day. Is there racism in France? Racism is everywhere, and France is definitely not an exception. It's just how humanity is geared to be, and it's just sad that we have to face this in this time and age. What I can say is that I have faced unpleasant situations, I would say like micro aggressions that happen on a day-to-day basis. Of course, if my last name was different or if the color of my skin was different, I feel like maybe opportunities such as looking for jobs or working at certain places or even applying for things like houses would have been either quick or different. It's safe to say that not every person that I have met in France or any other place that I've worked, they have been racist. It's just there are certain circumstances where people will treat me a little bit differently because of the way I speak or how I look. I haven't had anyone call me the N-word. I mean, I know this maybe might happen to other people, but personally, I have not experienced that. So I cannot say on that. You will struggle just a little bit more if you are, say, my color, and it wouldn't be as straightforward. I do try my best and I'm not complaining, because I do know that it's very important to integrate into the French society by trying to learn the language, by trying to appreciate the French culture so that I can integrate more. There's still a long way to go, but I guess it's the same as every other country. I really feel very blessed to have this opportunity to live in such a wonderful country, let alone a very wonderful city in the entire world. I wouldn't have it any other way. So if you have any questions or if you have had similar experiences, I would like to keep the conversation going. Please don't hesitate to leave your comment on the comment section down below. Again, don't forget to grab your Ana Luisa jewelry. Ana Luisa is having a big Cyber Monday sale. You buy one item, you get the next one for 65% off. So that's a very good deal. You can use the link that will take you directly to the sale. So thank you again and have a lovely weekend. Bye.